Hi, how are you? My name is José. I'm from Chile and South America. A good friend of mine, a dear friend, Haneke, asked me to share with you my testimony. I will try to make it short and just I want you to be just very focused because my mother tongue is not English and I will try my best for you to understand everything. I just want to start for you to understand my background. I'm coming from a very poor childhood. My family was very poor. My father was a political activist against Pinochet and all this communism and socialism going on in my country at that time. And for that make us, live in a very tough way. We live in a township that my father took that land, from a company, and he by force took the land, and people start to live there. My father was the one that did that. Because of that also I was rising up as a very tough boy, because I had to fight in the street and do so many things. I was abused when I was 4 or 5 years old by uncles, and it wasn't good for me at all, and this made me more violent. And also my father was an alcoholic, and all the time when he was drunk, beat my mom, and that was very tough for me. On top of that, my father never recognized me as a son because my sister and my older sister and my youngest son were blonde and blue eyes and myself wasn't, as you see. That make my mother all the time hide me, under the table, because if my father came back home drunk, he can beat my mother, and that was really a big thing for her. I went out of my house when I was 15 years old. I went to the army service. I tried to make myself a soldier, because I have no way to go to school, college, or university, because my dad said that my sister were smarter than me, and for that I have to work as soon as possible. And for that I prefer to go out of my house and live alone, doing so many wrong things, just because I want to be at home with my dad, because I have no hope to study, to profession, a career, anything like that. Being outside in the street, it's very tough. You have to fight, you have to do so many wrong things. If you can see closer, you will see all my mark in my body. I can't show you now all of them because I missed that finger because I tried to kill a guy in the army service. This was an M16 that take my finger off, and I have like a cutting in my arm, stuff like that, all around my body, because I was living at the street, and outside you have to be a very tough guy. My mom entered a depression, she was a very depressive woman, and you're gonna ask for anything else, because she was suffering a lot. She was beaten, she was poor, she was raising 4 kids, in a very poor way, and also she was suffering some of the stuff in her body, she got a stroke one time, when she was very young. She had high blood pressure and all these things, that made my mom come into depression, and because of that she tried to kill herself around 4 times. The number 5, the 5th one, she killed herself. When she killed herself, she jumped into a river from a bridge, and she was very dramatical thing, I remember this very touching. I tried to make this testimony go quickly, because I don't want to bore you with my details, but I was a fireman because it was the only way to live outside my house without have a house, and I lived in the fireman station, and I stayed there as a volunteer just to have a place to sleep and to eat something. And for that, my company was the one in charge to go and take my mom from that river. I couldn't went there because I was far away from the company at that very moment, but my friends, all my friends and colleagues went there, and they tell me, no, it's an old woman, she killed herself. Actually, she wasn't old at all. She was 37 years old when she killed herself, jumping from that river. That situation, because I didn't realize that was my mom. All my friends, like a fireman, we were talking in a very senseless way, this is a woman just killed herself, and what else, tomorrow we are going to take it because it's too far from us, and it's dangerous to go into the river in that way. From that was a shopper that take her from the river, and I didn't realize that was my mom until the next day. My father phoned me and said, your mom hadn't arrived home, and my brain go quickly what happened with that woman, because it was a newspaper showing that a woman killed herself. And for that, I start to cry. My boss say, "Why you are crying, man? It's a not recognized woman. You don't know the name." But I was sure something inside me told me that was my mom. And for that, I went to the place just to recognize her because she was a non-recognized woman, and I went there, and they showed me the clothes, and then they showed me her like in a place there, and yeah, it was my mom. I cry, I suffer a lot at that time, but then I have to be in charge of telling my sister and also my dad, what happened with my mom. That was really, really tough. Okay, being organizing all the things, was just few hours that this happened to my mom. I went to my father's job, and I called them, and asked to my father to come home. I go to took my brother from the school, and stuff like that, and tell them what happened with mom. Also I have to organize the church. And we were Catholic at that time, and was very difficult for them to make a service, They can't make this kind of service for a woman that killed herself. Because of the dogma, whatever, they were refusing to do it. But we were part of that congregation, and for that, my father pushed them until they say, okay, we are going to do it. And they make, a service, a funeral service for my mom. And when the priest was there, all the family, we were in the front bench, very, very close to the coffin. And we were there, when the priest, and he made a mistake. I don't blame him, I forgive him. He said, from the altar, he said, I know I don't need to do this service because this woman is in hell. Yeah, you hear well. This man said, this priest said from the altar, he said, I don't have to do this service because this woman is in hell. When I hear that, he killed complete my faith. After I heard this man say that, my faith was completely gone. I went out with my mom's coffin, out of the church, and I said, I don't know if to me or loud, I say, I don't want to go to heaven. I prefer to go to hell with my mom than go to heaven where it's going to be this priest and my dad too, And for that, I don't want to go there, and I swear to God, because, yes, I say bad word to God, because I was very mad. The only woman that protect myself, my life, the only woman that care about me, the only woman that loved me, now was in hell because of a depression, because a man that beat her, and because all the circumstances of being poor yet, that we couldn't help her in a healthy way, We couldn't get her into a clinic, into a treatment, because we don't have cash, we don't have money, we were poor, we couldn't make it, Because of that, I get mad about religion, and I start to speak very loud, and I try to make many wrong things. If before I was doing that like if after that I was doing drug and this kind of thing, like marijuana and alcohol and pills, stuff like that, I went to cocaine, past base of cocaine, because I want to go bad, I remember just the movie Breaking Bad. I want to break bad, because I in such a bad stage. The only thing that I want is to be with my mom. She killed herself for me at that time. She was brave, and I wasn't brave enough to kill myself. And for that, I tried to kill myself from inside out, And for that, I start to use drugs. I start to go party. I start to fight with people in the street. I fight many times in the street with many people. No one killed me at that time. I felt that I was a very strong guy. I didn't realize that God mercy was on me, protecting me from many things that I did wrong, but God's protection was over me. Because of that, I couldn't kill myself. And one day, and this is the thing that I want to give this testimony for, I went to a highway, a big highway here, the main one, like an N1 there, and I want to kill myself. And I jump into the fence, over the fence, there, and I want to jump over a truck or over a car because I want to kill myself. I want to be with my mom. That was Sunday, was in May, and I was just, I couldn't bear anymore, I was using drug. I was with the side effect of the drug, cocaine, past bait, give you this anxious thing, and I was in a very bad stage, and I want to kill myself. At that time, I make a crazy prayer, the craziest prayer ever. I don't know why in that moment. Now I know, and maybe you know, but at that time I didn't know why I was praying. I was over that fence, I couldn't make my thought clear, but I was making a prayer, and my prayer was a very awful one. Don't repeat this at home, please, if you know the Lord. If you don't know the Lord, you must carry on. God will hear you as He heard me, okay? At that moment, I said to the Lord, if you are really exist, and I swear to Him, I don't want to repeat this before you because maybe you are going to be flashing, or my friend Haneke is going to cut off the video. But I swear, and I swear to God, I use very bad word against Him. And I say, if you really exist, change my heart, and I will serve you wherever you send me. Can you believe it? Can you believe it that a guy, a drug addict as me, a guy that is using drug, a guy that was really, really in bad shape was making that prayer? The most incredible thing wasn't the prayer, because the prayer had nothing great. Actually, the prayer is awful. What really happened there, God listened to me. And God listened to me in a funny way. And this was no car was coming anymore on that highway. It was crazy, out of the blue. At the beginning, I couldn't notice it. Just I saw that no was full of car after making the prayer, Before the prayer was no car coming, it was no truck, was no bus, no car, not a bicycle, even to kill myself, And then I turned, because this is a big highway, go north and the other south. I turned to the south part, just to see if there is anything coming to me, to make me happy, because I want to be killed, and nothing happened there. When that happened, I couldn't realize. I was so mad. I was so on drug, that I felt that was a bad luck, and I was very mad. I waited around 10 minutes there in a highway, in the main, like a N1 for you guys, without car, was stupid. And I was so mad, I couldn't realize that God was answering my prayer. I just went out mad and saying I couldn't even kill myself. Then, that very week, a woman, and I want to be very honest and sorry if there is any woman that can feel ashamed, embarrassed about what I'm saying. You ask me for a testimony and I will share to you like was, I'm not going to make up anything. I was working as a guard in a shop because I couldn't have study, I couldn't finish my study, and I was a security guard. And I was at my work, one day, after that crazy Sunday, I went to my job, on Monday, and a girl, a beautiful girl, was actually beautiful leg, if you say, yeah, I can say that, because he was like a promotion, he make promotion for this special, I don't know the name, like a woman's pants, and for that she was beautiful, and she was saying, came close to me and say, Jose, do you want to go to a church with me? And I look at her, and I promise you, I didn't want to go to church. I want her. And because of that, I say, yes, I promise you, I didn't say yes for the Lord. I say yes for her. Because my tricky mind, I was really, really a tricky guy, and I was thinking, what. And I went to that place. The church was really small, was a Pentecostal one, charismatic. They were singing, dancing, shouting. For me, it was crazy. I felt myself that I was more intellectual, and I was looking those guys and looking down there, but they were having experience. They were having something there. And in a way, I want that thing for me too. What happens then when they were dancing and shouting and everything there, singing hymns, I start to praying to myself, if you are here, if you are God, touch me. But I was a tough guy. I was in this position. I said, touch me if you are God. And God didn't touch me. I can't do this because of the video matter, but I was again praying, but I sit down. When I sat down, I asked him, touch me. If you are God, if you are here, touch me. He didn't touch me again. And then I went to my knee. The guys know my story. They know how I do this in stage, And I went to my knee, and he didn't touch me again. I start to feel rejected. I feel like maybe it's like my dad, because I'm not blonde and blue eye. He is rejecting me. And then I went flat on the floor, under the bench. I forgot about the woman. I forgot. I wasn't embarrassed. I was just focusing because if he was God, I want him to touch me. Actually, what happened under the bench of that place, I was ridiculous. I looked like an idiot there, but I was crying and crying and crying myself out. I don't know how long I was crying there, but when I stood up, I was so released about what happened there. I forgot about the woman. I forgot no one prayed for me. I went out of the church quickly, happy as ever. I was walking, out of that church. As I said to you, no one prayed for me. And then I was walking in the street at night. I was a very tough guy at that time. I was feeling that I can breathe in and out, in a very free way, for it was like incredible, And then when I was on a very dark street, because it was at night, around 10 at night, I was walking there, and then I feel someone touch my back. When I feel that, I turn back straight away because I maybe was something, or something is happening to me. I was a street boy, and for that I turned back and wasn't anybody there. No one was there. And I really, really get scared. I was really scared. It was incredible that I was scared. And then after I walked, I hear the first time the voice of God. And as I heard the voice of God, I saw like a video there. And I was hearing the voice of God. I was watching a video of myself. It was like a camera was looking at me down in the highway. At that time, in my country, were not cameras at the highway. Now is it there, but that time no, and was just like seeing myself from other perspective, and I was like seeing myself making that prayer. If you really exist, beep, change my heart, and I will serve you wherever you send me. Can you believe it? And then I hear the voice, the same thing that touched me, then talked to me. I couldn't see him, but I feel him, and now I hear him. I just saw the video being played, I don't know where, but in the street at night, and I hear the voice of God saying me, I did what you asked me to do. Now you have to fulfill the deal, your part. And I remember that was my promise, to follow him, to serve him wherever he sent me. Okay, all that happened then is part of our testimony. I don't know if I can say anything else, but I can say it in another time. The only thing that you need to know now, that God can hear you, that can hear you very well, and no matter even your word or your bad word, God loves you. And there is something special about this. People say to me, traditional people, then my life changed completely. I stopped using drug, I come out of drug without any therapy, was really crazy for many people around me. For that was obvious that something happened to me, and I wasn't just this crazy religious people. There is a testimony on me that was no one can say anything against this, because changed my life complete. But several people through the time, say to me, but how you can say this to God, And I think about that and say, if God was killed in a cross, if people spit to him, and he was able and allowed people to assassinate, to murder him, for me to say that word was nothing to him. His love, his goodness, mercy, compassion is too big, too high, that no word no action, no sin can take us from him. Actually, I think that he loves us furiously. And by that I mean he make any effort, with all his strength, thought, and heart. He loves us and take us next to the Father. Thank you. May God bless you. Thank you, Haneke. I hope that this can help you.